I'm so glad I get to do this.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck it. No parts, none of these fucking chapters. What is this, War and Peace? Fuck that. A subject like this requires, above all things, brutal, raw honesty. Because why is it that I still, in 2019, have to spread petitions around on Facebook to get Sesame Street to stop partnering with Autism Speaks? Maybe I'm just too stuck in the autism community or something, but I'm genuinely surprised I have to make this video. But hey, no hard feelings. If you don't know about this monstrosity of a group, well, sit back and fucking relax, because it's gonna be a wild ride, and certainly a fun one for me. Autism Speaks is, oh my god, how is it still the largest autism advocacy organization in the US? Get your fucking shit together, Americans. It was founded by two individuals named Bob Wright, former chairman of both NBC and General Electric, and his wife Suzanne Wright, who I guess is just a professional piece of shit. They got the idea for the organization after they found out their grandson was diagnosed with autism. Let me repeat that. They're not autistic. They've never even raised anyone with autism. They're literally just the rich grandparents of one autistic kid. That's going to become a theme going forward. Over the years, Autism Speaks has merged with several currently non-extant nonprofits, namely three: the Autism Coalition for Research and Education, the National Alliance for Autism Research, and oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm gonna have to get to what is pretty much the basic litmus test for this video. It's okay if you're not aware of the war between the Kirby's and the non-Kirby's. I'm not gonna woke school you. Yeah, just listen to what I'm gonna say. Hear out their argument, even if what I'm about to say might sound a bit hyperbolic at first. If you're in favor of curing autism, you are pro-genocide. Now, why do I say this? Well, let's look at the definition of the term genocide. The standard definition comes from the 1948 UN General Assembly Convention on Genocide. It states that genocide is any act committed with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. Yeah, that's right, any act, including non-violent acts. And I mean charitable in giving Kirby's the benefit of the doubt that they don't want to hunt us all down and force us to take the vaccine. Not only because that would be incredibly and obviously unethical, but also because it wouldn't work, since autism affects every part of who you are. Killing the autism would necessarily mean killing the person, under any standard theory of identity. So I'm assuming they want to prevent autism before birth through fucking with the kid's genes, or otherwise look for an autism gene and then presumably do some eugenic shit to make sure autism dies out. This would constitute a genocide. If you did this, for example, to the Jews, altered their genes so they would be Western European and stuff in an attempt to destroy the Jewish ethnicity, that would be genocide. Incidentally, this is why the white supremacist conspiracy theory of white genocide is called white genocide. If you've gone past the alt-right great replacement stuff and are fully on board with the idea that the Jews are deliberately loosening immigration laws and promoting miscegenation in an attempt to destroy the white race, that would constitute a genocide. But to think that you need the fascioid skull. By the way, the only addition I would want for the UN General Assembly definition is that the act has to be taken by an outside group without the other group's consent. A group can't willingly genocide itself. But hey Satan, I hear you asking, that definition didn't say anything that includes autistic people. Well, you'd be wrong about that. Let's look at the word ethnical. According to the Merriam-Webster English Dictionary, it means ethnic. Alright, what does ethnic mean? Merriam-Webster again, of or relating to large groups of people classed according to common racial, national, tribal, religious, linguistic, or cultural origin or background. But Satan, that doesn't say anything about mental illnesses. Well, autism isn't a mental illness, but regardless, it does say something about a culture. And if you doubt that autistic people have a culture, I'll invite you to undertake the simple task of reading the subsection within Wikipedia's Societal and Cultural Aspects of Autism page on autistic culture and community. The issue is autistic people by and large do not want a cure. To the extent that some do want one, it's only to combat the incessant mistreatment from neurotypicals. Research into a cure for autism is done without most of our consent, right now. Also, to get back to my earlier point, a giant misconception many have is that autism is a mental illness. It's not. It's actually classified as a developmental disability, and for your information, disabled people do not want you to yeet them off without their consent. Stop trying to do that. Further than that, Homosexuality was once classified as a mental illness. Something being classified a certain way now doesn't mean it has always or will always be classified a certain way. Further than even that, autism differs from other disabilities in one very important way. Take something like blindness. Given a societal vacuum wherein you are separated from anyone who could oppress you, most of us would say it's still better to see than to not see. I mean, sighted people can just close their eyes if they don't want to see. This doesn't mean that you should get rid of someone's blindness without their consent, but my point is made. With autism, the problem exists purely in society. Given the same societal vacuum, there are no symptoms of autism that inherently negatively affect autistic people. We don't communicate badly, just differently from neurotypicals. But what about low-functioning autistic people, you ask? Low-functioning autistic people are just autistic people with an IQ of 69 or below, who sometimes have had bad symptoms as a result of abusive environments. There are neurotypicals with low IQs too. And even if you want to say there's a greater comorbidity of mental illnesses with autism than without, first of all, that's relevant because autism doesn't automatically lead to the diagnosis of a comorbid mental illness. It's correlational, not causational. And more importantly, no genetic link has been proven between autism and these illnesses. These illnesses are, in reality, probably just caused by systemic abuse and societal rejection, like with trans people. So yeah, if you want to yeet autistic people off the face of the planet, you're pro-genocide. And if after all I said you still disagree, you still think autistic people are damaged and need to be cured, well, leave. Seriously, fuck off. I'm doing a lot more videos like this, so I promise you won't like my channel. See you in the fucking streets, bitch. Alright, for the rest of you, let's talk about why Autism Speaks is so shit. Well, actually, to start, I don't think anyone can tell you what Autism Speaks is about better than Autism Speaks, so take it away, Autism Speaks.
I am autism. I'm visible in your children, but if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late. I work faster than pediatric AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined. And if you are happily married, I will make sure that your marriage fails. Your money will fall into my hands, and I will bankrupt you for my own self-gain. I don't sleep, so I make sure you don't either. Your scientists don't have the resources, and I relish their desperation. Your neighbors are happier to pretend that I don't exist. Of course, until it's their child. I am autism. You ignored me. That was a mistake.
Yep, that's a real ad Autism Speaks made. It's not a parody. They actually screened that for tons of people to see, and it was directed by, holy shit, Alfonso Cuarón directed this? The same guy directed Prison of Azkaban, Children of Men, and Gravity? These people used their donation money to hire one of the greatest living directors to direct a fucking hate video. And has anyone called him out on this? As far as I know, no one has, besides me on Twitter. If we could actually boycott his movies or something until he at least apologizes, that would be great, but unfortunately our level of class consciousness doesn't seem to be there yet. If you're wondering why I call Autism Speaks a hate group in the title, stuff like this is why. Just change the terms to any other marginalized group, and the implications become real clear real fast.
Meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes. Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
You know, I joke about the Nazis, but Hans Asperger, you know, the guy behind Asperger's, was a guy who referred at least 37 children to be euthanized, some, if not all, of which were autistic, given he cited their ineducability and lack of gemüt, or ability to take interest in others, something characteristic of his theory of autistic psychopathy. So yeah, that's our early history, being killed in the fucking Holocaust. And according to Autism Speaks' mission statement, they pretty much have the same goals, to be undertaken with somewhat less violence. Some select quotes include, "We are dedicated to funding global biomedical research into the causes, prevention, treatments, and a possible cure for autism." Autism Speaks aims to bring the autism community together as one strong voice to urge the government and private sector to listen to our concerns and take action to address this urgent global health crisis. Definitely not fascist, though. It is our firm belief, working together, we'll find the missing pieces of the puzzle. We'll get back to the puzzle thing later. Despite the fact that Autism Speaks is, again, the largest autism advocacy organization in the US, not one member of their board of directors is autistic. In fact, they have a dearth of autistic people working for them generally, overwhelmingly because most of us find them fucking disgusting. They did have one autistic guy, John Elder Robeson, working with them as a member of their treatment and advisory boards, but then he, the one autist they had, literally had to fucking resign after professional piece of shit Suzanne Wright wrote an op-ed claiming families affected by autism lived in despair and fear of the future. Given the opinions of autism by their personnel, you can see why they focus on what they do in their mission statement. The mission statement still says they're involved with advancing research into causes and better interventions for autism spectrum disorder and related conditions. These priorities are also borne out by their budget, seen here. You see the part of their graph that says family services, the part that's less than 2%? Well, those are just like all of the actual services it provides for autistic people. Some of which are good, like providing communication devices for autistic children and teenagers, and some of which are bad, like providing applied behavior analysis services, which is literally just conversion therapy. It's the same fucking thing as gay conversion therapy. They abuse autistic people and make them feel horrible for being autistic in an attempt to get them to show those behaviors less in public. And it's opposed by pretty much all of the autism rights community. This 2% exists at the same time as the fact that its rates of executive pay are the highest in the autism world, some being higher than $500,000 a year for a non-profit. More than 8 times as much money as for family services goes into fundraising efforts, 8% going to miscellaneous things, 32% going to research, i.e. research on how to eradicate autism, and 42% going to awareness and lobbying. This awareness includes things like that I Am Autism video you saw, or like these signs they put up at Ohio State. Or perhaps I should be fair and mention Autism Speaks' Walk Now for Autism in Washington, D.C., wherein they feature the Judge Rottenberg Center as research for autistic people and their families. What is the Judge Rottenberg Center? Oh, just an institution that regularly uses electroshock on autistic people as punishment for pretty much any behavior that annoys one of the staff members. That place is still open, by the way. What about their lobbying? Well, that includes things like researching a cure for autism, which, by the way, they publicly thought for a while could have been caused by vaccines, causing even more people to leave and denounce them. It also includes successfully blocking the inclusion of the Cherkowski Amendment in the Autism Cares Act, which included things like this. Given their obvious disdain for the rights of autistic people, it's no surprise that after the news of the abuse and attempted murder of Izzy Stapleton, a 14-year-old autistic girl, by her mother, Autism Speaks and Dr. Phil, for some reason, sympathized with her and her disgusting actions. For example, Gary Marison, a board member at Autism Speaks, said the following: "Murder is murder. However, it is the fact that some parents do not believe that they have any other viable options." Okay, no, fuck it. I can't do it. I thought I could do it, but I can't. It's too fucking disgusting. Look in the description if you want the full quote. Ugh. Jesus fucking Christ. I want to speak to Ray of Light in this, however. Though Autism Speaks tries to justify its actions through drawing tenuous, exaggerated, or even false links between autism and various illnesses, despite there being no evidence of a causative link, meaning getting rid of autism wouldn't get rid of those illnesses, most autistic people, and a lot of people generally, upon hearing these things about the organization, can easily see it for what it is: a hate group. And through that, people start to question a lot of the assumptions they might have had about autistic people, or about themselves if they're autistic. In a way, Autism Speaks is, in fact, one of the best tools for autistic class consciousness, radicalizing us in opposition to them. The memes and the culture that has come out of just hating Autism Speaks in the autism community is kind of beautiful. It's created a kind of solidarity I find comforting during our time of bondage, our time of being mistreated, discriminated against, judged, and discarded by society. And God knows, until things get better for us, I can learn to appreciate even that.
One last thing, I just want to get back to the puzzle piece thing, Autism Speaks' logo. It's actually what's commonly referred to as the autism awareness symbol, created by neurotypical Gerald Gasson, who thought that autistic people suffered from a puzzling condition, something that needed to be cured. Let's be clear, this is not the autism rights symbol. This is the autism rights symbol. It's time for people to stop being aware of us and start accepting that we're here to stay and we want to be treated like human beings. And the first step is to, at the very least, stop trying to kill autism. If you kill autism, you kill me, because I am autism.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'm so glad I got to make my first video dedicated towards building autistic class consciousness, and I'm really hoping to reach as many people as I can because I think it's really important to get the word out there, not only about Autism Speaks, but about the autism rights movement in general. So please, 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 please like this video, share this video around as much as you can, tell everyone you know about this, because spreading the word on this stuff is super, super, super important. I'd like to stress that there was a lot more terrible stuff Autism Speaks has done that I had to cut because I didn't want this to become a documentary on Autism Speaks or anything, just something to convince people of how horrible they are and why I think groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center and the ACLU should denounce them and classify them as a hate group. If you're wondering what you can do now, in the description I put a link to the Sesame Street petition I mentioned in the video, so please sign that, because even after months we still haven't gotten to 15,000 signatures, but we're almost there, so keep signing. Anyways, guys, again, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate any support you can give, and yeah, bye.
By the way, stop appropriating our fucking culture.